All right. Yeah,
All right.
I don't think I have any. I got my year-end review at 2:30, so this will be a good precursor.
Perfect, perfect. Hopefully we don't take an hour to record.
Hopefully not.
All right, we're rolling. All right, welcome back, everyone. Week 15. There's probably only three of you listening to this besides me and Ryan. And once again, we're joined by Ryan. Say what's up.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, skeleton crew probably tuning in, but that's okay.
I had you predicted to go out last week, but Lamar pulled through for you here, and now here he is on the front
Yeah,
slide.
it's his team now.
It's his team. You don't need anyone else if Lamar's going to put up 35. But all
I
right.
don't. I hope that's still true.
Unfortunately, Potter is gone. That's not what I predicted. He was my honorable mention to win it, and through most of the season, he was my prediction to win it. And when we look at his team, he really had a good team. It's just unfortunate the way the injuries panned out with Tyreek and Justin Jefferson this week. So that's all it'll take, really, in this league, especially this late in the season.
Yeah, it's really on Jack for going all in on Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
You
really his
gotta
fault.
gotta examine the risk. I remember people were saying he fleeced Johnny Boy back in the day,
Uh
and
huh.
ironic that led to his elimination.
Yeah, it is funny to think about. He gave what 20 fab and
Yeah,
someone for Justin Jefferson.
I
Someone
don't
that
remember
someone that
if
Johnny
he
could
gave
start
somebody.
in
Yeah,
place of him. Um, in theory, it was a good idea. It just didn't work out. And he might be back this week. He got knocked out last week, but
Hmm.
supposedly could make an appearance this week. So ultimately, I don't hate the move, but 20 fab is a lot now that we're where we are right now, where there's not even 20 fab left in the entire league.
Yeah. I don't say it's just fantasy football. It's luck. I tried very hard to get Mike Evans, and
Thank God you didn't.
I might be out if I did. So
Exactly. Exactly.
and I thought Tank Dell was going to be the future, and obviously I got 12 points from him. So it happens.
It happens. Injuries happen. Players underperform. Just is what it is. But here we are, Cooper, coming off of being predicted to get eliminated to, or no, wait, I was predicting Ryan, but he's definitely towards the bottom in the red in a lot of the charts. And here he is, scoring the most points last week with 136. That's up or down actually 23% from last week. Last week was really high scoring. It was two people scoring over 170, JC and Potter. But we regress back down as it seems. It never stays consistent. And Ryan, here you are at the bottom. 96 points. That's average of 96 between you and Potter. But that's still up from last week, which was just 87. And we'll see how that looks on how we've been trending for the whole year. The top comes down a lot. Um, I was expecting some kind of consistency, but I guess when we're talking about the top and the bottom 25%, it's just a couple teams, and at this point, it's just one team at the top and the bottom. So the orange and the gray bars will kind of fluctuate a bunch, but this blue, at least, we're seeing a steady trend up on the league average. Except, I mean, it was pretty bad last week, low scoring. You guys need to step it up.
Somebody's got to pick up DK.
Someone's got to pick up DK. What, can I get someone to pick up DK? So this is the Thursday night tonight. Chargers Raiders could be interesting. We got two backup quarterbacks and a couple starters, I believe. Oh, Keenan Allen's out actually, so he's not in. Eckler, I saw on someone's bench, Jack's bench. Right now, Eckler's being benched. So as it stands, no Chargers are being started tonight. But the Raiders, we have Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams, who I think are being started by Cooper and I don't know who has Devontae now.
I do. I'm not
You,
starting him.
you do. You do, and you're not starting him. So we might
I do.
only have Josh Jacobs tonight. Interestingly, I don't know. What do you think about this? I know nothing about this Chargers quarterback. I don't know. Easton Stick. Do you have any college
Is he a
background?
Georgia guy?
I
Why
don't
am I
know.
thinking that? I don't
Is
know.
he?
No, I'm guessing, but
Okay,
I
so
don't
he's irrelevant enough that you don't even know where he went to college.
know. North Dakota State. No, I wasn't getting that.
We're not gonna get that. Okay. Well,
No.
hey, no one knew who Jake Browning was, and here he is. So, who's starting Jake Browning this week is what I'm wondering. He's been a top 5 quarterback the last 2 weeks, breaking records of completion percentage.
Eric's undefeated with these Thursday Night Football slide callouts with DK and Zeke. So
Yeah, I don't
Jake
know.
Browning, add him to the list.
Well, except he's
popping
not
off
on
this week.
Thursday, but
Yeah, but you're shouting him out on the slide.
on the slide, yeah. I don't have anyone. I wouldn't say, hey, go start this guy from either of these teams tonight.
Easton Stick. Go start Easton Stick.
I'd rather you start. Jake Browning's a better start than Easton Stick. Let's be real. But you're right. I have been right back to back, and I have DK. Going back to the whole DK take, I have DK in my other Guillotine league, and I don't know what to do with him. Like, I don't know if I should start him or not because I'm alive with 4 people left, and he's like right on the fringe of he's just too risky. I feel like, but he's also got a
Yeah.
With Drew Lock, I feel like his ceiling's limited, but maybe I'm wrong.
Tricky one.
It is a tricky one, and that leads us to here, where he will be playing Monday night if someone decides to start him. But obviously the Eagles, lots of starters. Hurts, Brown. I don't think anyone's starting Devontae Smith or Swift.
I don't think so either. Swift's on waivers. Devontae's on JC's bench, I think.
Yep, I think I definitely saw him on a bench. And then right now, no Seahawk is being started. DK is not rostered. Kenneth Walker, I don't know.
I dropped him.
You dropped him. Okay. So, I mean, the Eagles are the 32nd ranked defense against wide receivers this year for fantasy. So, I would have absolutely no problem if someone started DK tonight, even if Drew Lock is playing. I think he's a pretty safe play. I know I still have to make that decision in my own league, but I think someone could start him very easily. He should be rostered at least. Like that, it's kind of wild that he's not, but I know it gets a little thin here. Well, actually, this league has 4 bench spots. My other league has 3, and I have him in that league, and no one has him in this league. So I don't know. I think he's deserving of a spot, but that's just my opinion. Nothing moved on the board here. Even with Potter getting eliminated, he still currently is in second in points scored on the year. JC's average went up a couple points, now at 127 a week. Everyone else's, I want to say stayed like within 1 or 2 of what they were. So, but we can still see Mark here. Mark is still above everyone except for JC. So, Mark, if you're watching this video, I really doubt it.
I don't think he's watching.
I don't think anyone's watching. Minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people at most.
Yeah, that probably is it.
That's probably it. No Ben or Jake, you don't think? You don't think Tom's
tuning in?
No,
I don't think any of them are tuning in.
That's okay. When I got eliminated in my other league last year, I stopped watching, even though I got 5th last year, so I've already passed where I was last year in my other league. But that's irrelevant to this. Let's get to the economy. Funny enough, even with how little money is left, $16 left, this is the highest percent market share that anyone's owned. It's JC with $11. 69%. Yeah, Jack with 3, Ryan with 2, Cooper with 0. I think JC and Jack have the best teams, but now JC 11 fab doesn't seem like much, but relative to the league, he can do a lot with that. He can outbid everybody for anyone he wants for the next couple weeks, or save it for like the final week and get literally the best squad available, which I think could be the move if you're in his position, where he could do nothing for the next 2 weeks and probably still survive.
I mean, at this point, it's kind of a coin flip.
It is, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if spending his money like next week when there's 3 teams left,
right?
I think he should save it for when there's about to be 2 teams left and it's a championship. Spends it all there. He gets the best of the best of the third team, the third place team that got eliminated. I think that's the way to do it. But then, because I don't think what you're going to get by spending it now is going to be better than that, or also improve your chances by that much of surviving anyway. All right. Yeah, Ryan, what are you going to do with $2? What's the play?
I don't know. It's interesting. I think I overpaid for everybody this week. However, I was well. First of all, my team was weak, so I wanted some guys. And,
scared you?
Well, I mean, what scared me even more was that Achane now seemed like a backup, and I thought he might. Yeah, I thought he might eventually start to take over the backfield as he got healthier. Mm-hmm. And Diggs continues to suck, and so I think I really, out of necessity, needed some players. But what I was thinking, and what scared me into overbidding, was I was like, what if like Cooper just spends just goes all in on Kyron or all in on Tyreek?
That's because
that's
right?
Yeah, because that's a strategy, right? If he was like, let me just get one more baller to fill out the squad, So
Right.
maybe I just go $2 on one person. I think at that point it's
I don't
two
mind it.
dollars. Yeah,
Like if you think Kyron's a guy you start in the championship, in theory, he's probably like a flex in the
I mean
championship.
he gets CMC touches,
He
so
does, and he just gets touchdowns all the time.
yeah,
And the Rams are kind of rolling right now. So
yeah. And they
got the
got
Commanders this
the
week. So
commies this weekend.
don't
Yeah,
hate it at
he's
all.
projected. He's projected 20 points in ESPN's non PPR format, so which I've never
Unreal.
seen since CMC probably, but
Yeah, only projected like 17 in sleeper, but
yeah, with half
either is very
PPR.
reasonable, I think.
Yeah,
Then he has
yeah,
the Giants in the championship if he,
yeah.
for
I would
whoever starts
assume
in
he
there.
starts. Yeah,
Exactly. So I
I
like
will be
him.
starting him then. Yeah.
I got him in my my Guillotine league too. I need him to replace some guys. But yeah, it is a tough thing. Yeah, with the Achan, like I had the decision whether or not to start Mostert. I think I was telling you about this in my other league,
Mm-hmm.
and I did end up starting him gladly because he had a great game, some two
Yeah, that
fourth
was
quarter
big.
touchdowns, and that was on Monday when I was not
Did
safe.
that? Yeah, I was gonna ask if that put you over.
It did. It was the other guy had Tyreek and the Dolphins D, and of course Titans started shafting the Dolphins towards the end, which
Yeah.
helped for the defense, and then Tyreek got hurt, so I ended up winning by like 20 points, but it could very well have not gone that way if Tyreek didn't get hurt. So enough about that. The market share. We've now seen back-to-back weeks 2 of the top fab teams get eliminated. That Potter with 25 getting eliminated this late in the season, like that's a lot of fab. He had like 30%. That was like 30% of the remaining fab just gone. So it's big for the people that remain. And JC had 25 and now he's down to 11. So he spent 14 this week. Still holds the most right here by a long shot. Yeah, it's not even close. He owns almost twice the percentage that anyone's ever owned in the league. So I think JC's in a prime position here to win the whole thing if he plays it right. But really, you can make smart decisions with 0 fab too. So it's all luck also, as we've seen. Just don't start an injured player. Easier said than done. Here, I mean, not really anything to point out. I don't know, Ryan. You haven't been on since I added this. Do you have any thoughts on this and
And a
anything
lot
you
of
see?
lines.
A lot of
A lot of
lines.
lines. Yeah.
I mean, I did notice.
I think it was interesting for like Tom and like some of the other like notable ones, but it's difficult to really sift through the chaos for
It is. I
an
mean,
average Joe.
right. I think I see a lot of like, people spending and then getting eliminated. I spent, got
Mm-hmm.
eliminated. Johnny spent, gets eliminated. Mitchell spent, gets eliminated. Ben spends, gets eliminated. It's like sometimes just sticking with your guys can be better. Maybe Tom spends, gets eliminated.
Yeah, well, that doesn't really seem to.
I know it's all so random. I don't think there's anything to really
Yeah.
take from this. It's just kind of cool, I guess, if you want to see where people ended with their fab. The Grim Reapers, DK still the head Grim Reaper here, and everyone's too scared to start him. I would respect it if someone did. At least I think he deserves to be rostered because, I mean, let's say no one starts him this week and he's unrostered and he puts up like 30 points again. Does he then deserve to be rostered? Like if he does that with Drew Lock, let's say, I think then there's a possibility he could be started next week, even though no one's even rostering him this week. That's why I think it's worth potentially a roster spot for someone to go grab him. But one thing I notice here is Jack does not own anybody that's eliminated more than 2 people. I've eliminated some of the other 2s that are kind of irrelevant now. But I don't know. Maybe is that a strategy that he does not own a single player that's ever eliminated more than 1 person? Players that are arguably safe, but I don't know. Ryan, you've got a couple here: Pittman, Lamar, Diggs. Cooper.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's the DK too, but like some of the more volatile guys tend to find their way on here.
Like the studs that have had like those just
Yeah,
blow up
Diggs,
weeks.
DK.
Yep.
Yeah, but I was excited about Pittman. I thought he would be more popular, but he gets like targets in the teens on a pretty consistent basis. So
Yeah, I have him in my other league. I know I keep
I remember
saying that.
looking at it. I looked at his because I wasn't going to bid on him, and then I looked at his his like recent 4 weeks, and I was like, oh, holy cow! Like I feel like
Consistent as
yeah,
hell.
yeah, it was crazy. Anyway,
Right.
but
I mean, and he's a guy that it's not his fault that
yeah,
he was on a team that got eliminated. It's not like he was the one that put up the dud. It's just a
no,
coincidence that the guy
yeah,
whose
but I
team he
think
was on.
DK Diggs and
Those are
those
more.
other
They are
guys,
responsible.
yeah.
They actually had
Yeah.
Puka's had some bad weeks
Puka's
too,
had some bad ones. Yep.
and
And
Cooper has a
Lamar.
lot. Lamar has had some bad weeks, like low
That was why
teens.
Mark. That was why Mark went because started Lamar over Fields when Fields had like 35
Yep,
points.
I remember that.
Yeah, crazy.
Who could forget it? But yeah, we'll see. We got a new segment brought to you by Ryan. Memes of the week. Let's go through them. Starting with Jack. Jack dropping in Christian McCaffrey into his RB1 spot, but then Jack starting 2 Chargers in their broken offense. These were made before the week. This ended up working out okay for Jack because Eckler did fine, but Keenan Allen got hurt, but ended with like 9. So, you know, it is risky starting 2 players in that offense. I mean, if you were to start 2 players in the Chargers offense now without Herbert, then that's even
I don't think
worse.
he's starting either of them.
No,
But yes,
he's not.
this was made pre
Pre
Herbert
that.
injury. Yeah, and pre their game on Sunday. I think
Yeah,
maybe.
you made this like I don't know, Friday, Saturday, like
Yeah.
way before the weekend. So way before the games.
Oh, right after my trade, I was trying to make myself feel better. That's
Yeah,
my
there you
trade.
go. Making memes about other
Yeah.
people. But you do have some memes about yourself here, so we'll get into those.
I do.
I like this one. Cooper, according to Eric, since week 3. I don't remember ever predicting him to be out week 3. I don't know if you just threw up a random number there.
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
but
Not long after that.
yeah, in theory, Cooper's been in a tough spot for a while, and he's still alive. So here he is, still kicking. JC, being smart with Fab or throwing $7 on a tight end with Josh Dobbs as their quarterback. Also, how you can tell that this was made before this week. Josh Dobbs is now benched, but I guess last week. Wait, Josh Dobbs played last week, right?
Yeah, he did.
So yeah, so he did have Josh Dobbs thrown to him last week. Yeah, I don't hate the move even now with Nick Mullins. I feel like, especially if Jefferson's out, then Hawkinson's just like a safety valve for whatever quarterback plays.
I think it was more the panic nature of it in the middle of Sunday afternoon when Kincaid was. I mean, Kincaid's been solid. I don't know if Hawk's an upgrade, but not a huge one, and he could have really controlled the market more than he does now. But
right, I don't know. You could look at I can see it that way, but you can also see like he doesn't have to worry about picking up a tight end unless whoever has Kelsey gets eliminated. Yeah. Like he's fine. Like he won't need to start anyone else besides Hawkinson for the rest of the year. But yeah, good point. He could have even had more Fab right now if he didn't do that. And now Ryan's sad over here that he no longer has Christian McCaffrey. I don't know why. It still doesn't make sense to me. But I know we've moved on.
Bad trade. I said that 15 times.
I know, but why though? Why'd you do it?
I panicked. I wanted to because I didn't have a lot of Fab, and
now you got a little Fab.
I felt that I could flip. And I didn't have studs aside from CMC, so I wanted to flip CMC for essentially 2 studs. And I thought.
And you thought Eckler was useless.
Eckler was useless, and I still hold that. But I think Diggs. Anytime Kansas City's played Buffalo, the team seems to be a shootout. So I thought that would be a good matchup for him. It was not. And I thought Achane would take over the backfield, and he did not do that either. So. Bad trade. It was bad at the time. Now it's really bad, but it gave me 6 Fab. So
that's what I was going to ask. I couldn't remember if you spent 6 Fab or you got 6 Fab, but
I got it. Yeah.
Okay, so you can look at it as we'll get to your slide. What you did with that 6 Fab, and you can consider that as part of the trade too. You got Garrett Wilson on your bench, so you're trying. You're really considering starting him, aren't you?
I am. Not. I mean, he had a good week last week, but I'm stashing him because I think if Aaron Rodgers comes back,
oh my gosh,
Wilson becomes startable.
No way he comes back before the playoffs. I mean, unless they're kind of almost out of the playoff race now. They keep losing.
I've heard next week. Heard rumblings.
Like this week, this Sunday.
No, like the following.
The following week. Okay, I guess they did win last week. They had a good win against the Texans. So now
I don't.
Game back.
It's tempting, but I will not be starting him this week.
I would say DK is a better stash than Garrett Wilson
No,
if you ask me.
well, yeah.
But to each their own. Yeah, I mean, not going to be much to show here. Cooper and Ryan in the red. Cooper's in a much worse spot than Ryan. This is next week versus the rest of season. And then Jack and JC frolicking out here, looking fine. But, as we saw with Potter, Potter was here a lot. Potter was the only 3 last week, the only one in all 3 greens last week, and then he's gone. So, just don't. It's injuries. Injuries and luck, I guess. Don't have injured players. Again, this is just Fantasy Pros versus Sleeper. Ryan, Fantasy Pros likes your team more than Sleeper does. Sleeper has you in last. Fantasy Pros has you well above Cooper, but still below average. And then JC and Jack are still sitting pretty up there. And the budget versus the position strength. JC way up there. He's owning everyone in position strength and fab. Jack's got a strong team, but not a lot of fab, $3. And Ryan, you have $2. And according to the analytics, the least strong team, the weakest team, and Cooper is also not doing well with 0 fab. So, I don't know. This grid doesn't really work with 4 people, and when there's 3 weeks left to play. But I think JC and Jack are. I think that's the championship matchup. No offense to Ryan and Cooper, but I think that's got to be it. There's ways, obviously, Cooper and Ryan can make it easily. It's a lot of luck. But if I had to place my bets, I think these are the 2 strongest teams going forward. So, Cooper in the danger zone, Ryan. I mean, you could really both be in the danger zone. You're both at 0, but you have some fab, and I think your team's a little better than Cooper's. So, there it is. All right, one by one, each of the teams. Cooper coming in first last week, getting his 2nd star. Evan Ingram, that's a new GIF I had to find. Haven't had that. He just caught his first touchdown of the year last week, so pretty wild. DJ Moore, Josh Allen. All he really does here is he spends the last of his 9 fab on Kamara, Justin Jefferson, and Derrick Henry. I don't hate any of those, but Henry, I think, is close to not being startable. Like, I don't know if he's even a flex in the championship. Depends on his matchup, I guess. I haven't looked at that. But Justin Jefferson, if he comes back somehow, and even with a backup quarterback, there's some potential there. And Kamara's great. Like, can't argue with Kamara. He's probably a end-of-season play. Yeah, I don't know. Ryan, what do you think about Cooper's team?
I mean, everybody's good. I don't know their matchups off the top of my head, but
Here, I got it. I don't love Evan Ingram. I mean, there's 4 started tight ends in the league, and I know some people have good ones on their bench. I think Kittle's being benched on another team, and I don't know who else. But Evan Ingram feels against the Ravens. I don't love.
Yeah, I'm benching Laporta, but that's
yeah.
also kind of a stash. Yeah, a little defense, playing a little defense.
Right. I mean, the Lions are kind of slumping right now, and I don't know. I don't mind benching Laporta. But I don't know. I don't love Evan Ingram. I don't think he has 3 really good weeks right in a row, especially against the Ravens. I guess they played the Browns last week, and that was supposed to be a hard matchup, and it wasn't. So It is what it is. JC, not getting any accolades this week, but he's got a lot of them already. I don't think he needs any more. But Saints D, actually, his highest score. I would never imagine a defense being someone's top scorer this late in the year, but if you can find a defense that scores you double-digit or 20-plus points, then that's going to be very helpful to any time in the season. Even now, it's helpful to have that. Barkley and Rachaad White also having big weeks. And he goes and spends the 7, as we mentioned, on Hawkinson in the trade and spends the other 7 on Tyreek Hill. So he gets the wide receiver 1, assuming he can come back from, an ankle?
Yeah.
He still should be the wide receiver 1. And he has Hawkinson, the tight end 2, I believe. So, pretty good guys to get. 14 fab is a lot. He has 11 left, but his team's looking pretty solid here. I think Bijan, he was having his, not that great performance middle of the season, but I think he's coming back, and they have a good.
They have the Panthers. Yep.
Yeah, I like their matchups for the rest, or his matchups for the rest of the year. He's got. Let me pull it back up. Yeah, Carolina, Indianapolis, Chicago. Those are all greens. So.
Yep.
Bijan could potentially be. I wouldn't have said this earlier in the season, but I think Bijan could be a starter at the very end now in the championship.
Yep.
So he's very close to a complete roster here in terms of like a team he could be comfortable starting in the championship, but he could probably upgrade a couple. Like I don't know.
I don't know.
It's hard to look
Yeah,
at any of these guys
I don't
and say,
know.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I know DeVito's rolling, but I still feel like any game the Giants could just put up a 0. You know, I don't know. I'm nitpicking. I don't know where his weak spot is.
Right, right. I mean, I would, being really nitpicky, I think he could probably get 2 better flexes, but we're getting really nitpicky then. Like, his team's good. Did my screen freeze? You still there?
Yeah, you're frozen. I got you now, though.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think he could potentially replace these, but we're being really nitpicky. He's got a really solid team and the fab to keep improving it. All right. You see my screen still?
Yep.
All right, cool. Jack goes and gets Brees, Purdy, and Zeke. Not really that sexy, but he got them all for 0, so it is what it is. And then he got Christian McCaffrey and Eckler in the trade, but lost 6 fab. So, funny enough, 2 of his top scorers here, Ryan, could have been on your team.
You can keep starting Eckler. It's fine.
I don't know. I think
No.
now with a backup quarterback, they might have to rely on like the dump off, check downs, run game, all that. So I think,
Or they just don't score.
or they just never score. They never get down the field, never start driving.
I don't know. If Eckler wins him a championship, you just tip the cap. I wasn't going to start him last week.
I told you last week. I said, I saw you
Yeah,
had him
you
on your
did.
bench before you traded him.
Yeah.
I said I like him. Like I think he pops back off. He kind of. I mean, I thought he was going to pop off more, but 19 is nothing to scoff at. We'll see. We'll see what the Chargers do in general. But Eckler's a risky play. I don't think he's starting him right now. But good stash if he ends up being used and the Chargers don't continue to suck. But 3 fab left. Fleeced Ryan for Christian McCaffrey. It's always good to have the RB1. I already thought Jack's team was number 1 in the league, and now he has the number 1 running back by a large margin. So, Ryan, trivia. Do you know who the RB2 on the year is?
No.
It is Raheem Mostert.
Oh, shoot. I did see that. You're right.
Which is pretty wild. It's like,
that is crazy.
I tried to trade him in my other Guillotine league, and because I was worried about Achane taking over too, like before last week. I was trying to get rid of him, and I was like, he's the RB2 on the year. I was trying to use that as the.
I traded him for $8
point.
to Joey back in
remember
week
that.
2.
You were telling me that. At the
everybody got mad because they said you're taking advantage of Joey.
Taking advantage of Joey. Now poor Joey getting
gave
the
him
RB2.
the RB2 for $8.
Early in the year when people were spending like way too much for things, like 30 on things.
Yeah, 30 on Rashad White, which ironically, he traded him away for like nothing, and it might have been a good one to hold on to.
I know, Rashad White's been great.
Yeah.
That's Jack here. Now Ryan, Lamar carrying the team. Ayuk and Pollard having decent weeks, and now you've got a much newer looking squad here with Kyron added, Pittman, Diggs.
I don't think I'm starting Diggs.
You're not starting Diggs.
I'm going Ayuk.
Ayuk, Cup, Pittman. No Diggs. Against
Diggs.
Dallas? Really? Against his own brother? You don't think he can do it?
We'll see. I don't know. But at the moment he's not starting, and at the moment Laporta isn't starting.
Yeah, you've got McBride.
McBride, that's not going to change. I like him.
He's the guy, even against San Fran.
Yeah, they're going to get down and they're going to throw the ball.
Sure. But Denver's apparently really bad against the tight ends. But I guess so was Chicago. He had a bad week, so it's all a toss up. But
I got to figure out Diggs. Diggs might get the Eckler treatment. Got to see it first.
Right. I mean, he only had 1 bad week. You really think he's the kind? Okay, actually, never mind. He had bad weeks against Denver. Okay, here's my argument for Diggs. Weeks 10 and 11, he plays Denver and the Jets and scores 4 or 5 both of those weeks. Those are 2 of the best corners in the league that he had to go up against the entire the entire game. KC, I don't have an explanation why he was bad. He just, I don't know.
All right,
Dallas.
but let me ask you this:
Uh-huh.
who do you take out? Because I like Ayuk. Ayuk's done nothing to warrant him coming out of the lineup.
I mean, except for that he seems to be dependent on these like big gains. I mean, yeah, he has a lot of 100-yard games off like 5 catches. Like he just catches a lot of big balls.
Kind
And
of
if
their MO.
he just doesn't catch a touchdown, I guess last week he didn't, but he had 100 yards. If he has one of those stat lines from his previous 4 weeks and doesn't catch a touchdown, he's just putting up like 9 to 13 or whatever, which is fine. Diggs, I mean, if we saw what DK, when I was arguing for DK, they played the Cowboys, and he popped off against the Cowboys. Who does Diggs play?
I don't know.
The
We'll see.
Cowboys. So I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
I see what you're going. I see what you're doing. I think Cup is a lock. He's got to be a lock at this point, especially against the commies. But and Pittman is safer than Ayuk. I think Ayuk is the only one you could take out unless you take out a running back, like take out
Like
Montgomery.
Montgomery. Yeah, that's who I was going back and forth between. But
But he seems to be like a safe double-digit point guarantee, which is
yeah, and
nice to
Montgomery
have.
got me here. I
Gotta
gotta stick to the roots. He got me here.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's
I
hard.
don't know.
It's
Yeah,
tough. You can't get too
but,
attached like that. You gotta sometimes
well,
know when
I
it's time
did.
to move on.
So I did.
All right. That is it for the alive teams. Last look at Potter. Yeah, Pittman was his highest scorer, and now he's gone. Mahomes, Kyron. I mean, if you look at this team, you're like, I would never have guessed this team to go. But when you see injured, that's it, I guess. Injured, and then some lower performers. That's all it took. It's just unlucky. It's just all it is. We've said it a bunch. You can just get unlucky with injuries or just fluke bad performances, and that's all it takes. So Potter goes out with 83 points. All right, hot takes. I've now that my honorable mention to win it is dead, I'm just gonna have my one prediction to win it and my one prediction to get eliminated. Keeping it at Jack for who to win it. I don't want to just flip flop on that, like I've said. So I'm sticking with him for the rest of the year. I think he has a really good chance of winning it. And then if he is going to win it, then the pot goes to whoever gets second. So then it's that's exciting for whoever that is going into that week. Well, actually, it also makes it less exciting because then the only thing on the line in the championship, if Jack's in it, is just the pride of winning. But second place is still, or whoever is in there with him is automatically getting the money. But I guess there's still some intrigue about it, even if he's in there. But I've got Cooper going this week. Honestly, I was between. I considered equally all four of you to get eliminated. I tried to look at the matchups and everything. Like I even considered like throwing JC or even Jack in there, even though I have him as prediction to win it all. And there's parts of me wanted to do it because just to show how random this league can be if I were to predict that right. Because Cooper, I think, is obviously mathematically the favorite, to get eliminated based on the analytics. But anyway, I don't know, Ryan. What do you think? Do you have any hot takes for who you think is going to go this week?
I mean, it's a coin flip. I mean, everybody's team is good and projected about the same. I haven't dove into some of the other matchup specific
Right.
personnel like you have, but yeah, it's tough.
Yeah,
Tough
I
to
don't.
tell.
The way I normally do it, like when there were like 10 people left, I would just look at kind of like the bottom 4 teams based on the analytics, and then like make my pick from those guys. But now there's only 4 teams left, so I'm gonna look at everyone, even the teams that are technically the best. So yeah, Cooper, it's close. I mean, he has Justin Jefferson in right now. They play the Bengals. I don't know. Bengals D's been good. If Jefferson even plays, I don't like Ingram as his tight end. DJ Moore against the Browns D, don't love it. There's a lot of stuff I don't love, and you have to get nitpicky at this point in the year to really make a prediction. But it's anyone's game. It's a coin flip, like Ryan said. And finally, the power rankings. The only thing that changed besides Potter being off the list is I put JC back at 1 because of the Fab. I think he and Jack have the best teams by a pretty good margin, but JC now has the Fab advantage. Even though it's only $11, it's so much more than everyone else, and he controls the market and how he wants to play it. Whether it be spend it now or wait until the very last week and get everyone he wants, essentially. but everyone else can still work with what they have. There's ways to be smart. Like there's so many people on waivers right now that are probably going to have 30-point weeks. So it's about being smart and finding those guys. So still anyone's game for sure. But yeah, Ryan, any closing thoughts?
No, I mean I think it's going to be an uphill battle for Cooper and myself, but
I'd love to see it happen. I'll be honest. I'd
no,
love
I
to
mean
see.
I'm holding out hope that it is random. Like I think we have the weakest teams, but I mean Jack was significantly better than us too. So
All right.
hoping to get
Or you mean
lucky.
Potter? Yeah.
Potter.
It's confusing that they're both named Jack.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Anything can happen. If JC or Jack goes this week, that'll really flip the whole thing. If JC goes this week, everything's
Yeah,
flipped.
because then everybody's
The fab is
then,
even again.
then my low waiver order will come back to help me.
Exactly. So, just like we were kind of rooting for Tom deep down to like survive one more week and like have a really good team get eliminated, and then Tom picks up that whole team, like something crazy like league flipping like that to happen. It'd be fun. It'd be exciting as an outsider to see it happen.
Yeah, I would love if JC got out. Sorry,
Yeah, I think
JC.
I think that would be more league flipping than Jack going out just because of the fab. JC's
And I'm
fab.
rooting for Jack because Jack's basically out as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly. He helps you. He will help you get the money if he survives.
It's a three-team league.
Exactly. You only got to beat JC and Cooper, not Jack. So.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up. Good luck, everyone. Don't get eliminated.